What exactly is happening in Central Province? Keen observers of Kenya's political scene will not have missed the back and forth between politicians from the House of Mumbi in recent days. And this back and forth has revealed some very fascinating things. What? Hence the question, what is happening in Central Province? Kiharu MP Ndindi Nyoro, in the heat of the moment, introduces the name of Raila Odinga. Remember that? The legislator complains bitterly that he is being harassed, is being pressurized into leaving Team Tangatanga to join Team Keleweke. And he says it is impossible to sell Raila Odinga to his Murang'a constituents. And people wonder, where did that come from? You mean joining Team Keleweke is selling Raila Odinga in Central Province? He knows something we don't. And then Kirinyaga governor makes a very interesting statement. She says that Kenya cannot be dominated, the presidency of Kenya cannot be dominated by two tribes. It is not possible, for instance, to have another Kikuyu president. And by the way, she is addressing the Central Province. And of course, DP Ruto shoots back and says, stop being a tribalist. When we were campaigning for Uhuru Kenyatta, the DP says, we were not campaigning for Kikuyu. We were campaigning for Uhuru Kenyatta. And then the clincher came from Ndindi Nyoro in the talk show on Citizen TV, where he said that his colleagues, specifically Maina Kamanda, have told him several times that Raila Odinga is the next president. They should prepare themselves. They should get used to it. I'm telling you, this Kenya of ours. And so I return to my question, what is really happening in Central Province? All this is very confusing. Now, if you don't believe, or if you think Chris Kumekucha doesn't know what he's talking about, there's nothing happening in Central Province, explain the following. When Ndindi Nyoro was arrested, there was a riot in Murang'a. Now, that's a new one. At the height of Kenneth Stanley Njindo Matiba's power and influence in Central Province, I don't recall, unless somebody corrects me, I don't recall people in Murang'a rioting. And indeed, at that time, there were moments when the political temperatures in Central Province rose very high. Still, there were no riots. But recently, when news spread that Ndindi Nyoro had been arrested, there was a riot. What is happening here? Now, before we break this down further, there's something very important we need to note. Since the country returned to multi-party politics or multi-party democracy in 1992, we have never had a situation where there has been no major candidate from the House of Mumbi seeking the presidency. That has never happened. But it is happening now in the run-up to 2022 for the very first time. My point is, we find ourselves in a situation as a country, and especially as far as analysts are concerned, where they don't know what to make of the Central Province. Kunaendanga aje? Saile hawana candidate. Nobody has an idea. How do they behave when they don't have a major player seeking the presidency? Very hard to tell. Because we have never been in this situation before. But Kiharu legislator Ndindi Nyoro is telling us it is easier to sell DP Ruto in Murang'a, but it is impossible to sell Raila Odinga. And then Her Excellency the Governor of Kirinyaga, Anne Waiguru, is telling us, get serious. We cannot have another Kikuyu president. The presidency cannot be dominated by two tribes. And of course she's addressing the House of Mumbi. Clearly, there's a problem in Central Province. That should be very clear. And the problem is this: selling the BBI in Central Province is proving to be difficult. And although the Kiharu legislator, Ndindi Nyoro, is trying to convince us that selling DP Ruto is very easy, that is not the truth. It may be easier to sell Ruto, that may be true. Yeah, and in a minute I'll come to the reason why. But I can assure you it is not easy. Now, before we proceed, a quick aside. I have been bombarded by comments on this channel that actually have been purchased by Team Tanga Tanga. I'm a DP Ruto man. Where did that come from? Well, it all started, with my series of videos revealing, some Team Tanga Tanga tactics, some of which have been successful. People did not like that. What they want is for Team Tanga Tanga to be bashed, left, right, and center. These people are saying very clearly, I am not even allowed to analyze Team Tanga Tanga moves. I'm just supposed to concentrate on bashing them blindly, so that I may qualify as not having been bribed by Team Tanga Tanga. Well, that's not me, and I'm definitely not heading in that direction, which people want me to head to, at least some of you on this channel. And so, allow me to continue to analyze without fear or favor. If you have an opponent in anything, not just politics, it is very important to keep on carefully watching and analyzing what they're doing. People lose many battles by underestimating the opponents and just merely rubbishing them and not taking any interest to carefully study what your opponent is doing. Failing to take the time to understand or to attempt to understand what your opponent is all about. Folks, the dust and smoke around Team Tanga Tanga strategy and tactics is beginning to clear. The dust is settling, the smoke is slowly vanishing, and what is being revealed is super interesting. For example, it is now clear, at least to me, why the Deputy President never loses an opportunity to criticize and fire barbs at the former Prime Minister, Raila Odinga. It would appear, just like in 2017 during the general elections, bashing Raila Odinga in Central Province wins points. It wins support on the ground in Central Province. And older Kenyans will understand why. Because in the 60s, there was a deliberate campaign by the government to discredit, put down, insult the Luo community. And why was this done? Because the leading sons from the community were a threat to the Jomo Kenyatta presidency. And that was where you got things like Wajaluo are tairi, they don't circumcise, Luos are dirty, etc., etc. Profiling an entire community to discredit them. Indeed, I have said on this channel many times, and I don't mind repeating it again, that Kenyans owe the Luo community an apology. Now, if you have no idea why I'm saying that, I refer you to my earlier videos, and I believe there should be a link on your top right hand corner of the screen right now. Click on it, put that video aside, take it in, and you'll understand totally, and indeed even support what I'm saying. Anyway, back to our topic today. Now, this thing which started in the 60s seems to be buried very deeply, in some people, in Central Province, or rather in most people in Central Province. And in constantly attacking Raila Odinga, what the Deputy President is simply doing is trying to provoke those emotions and those feelings against fellow Kenyans back to the surface. That is what he's doing. Now, the big shocker here is that actually it appears to be working. Bottom line, it appears that the Deputy President seems to have some support in Central Province. And indeed, much more support than any of us had imagined earlier. Even if you hate the Deputy President, that appears to be a fact. And I admit, this is very difficult to believe. But just because something is difficult to believe, it does not mean that it is not true. You know, it goes without saying that the House of Mumbi vote, as far as the presidency of Kenya is concerned, has always been key. It's very important for any winning candidate, assuming a free and fair election. And so, going forward, it will be very important to keep a very close eye on political developments in Central Province. Let us start by looking for telltale signs to prove or disprove my analysis so far. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.